Hey YouTube, it's me Nick Easy, and I am here to do a winter tutorial for 2014/2015, depending on where you're located. I'm actually in Missouri, so we have winter from like December, well actually more like November. It's snowing right now. November through like March. So just depending on where you're located. I'm actually using the Vice 3 for this, and the look is like a smoky cut crease blue and black. I really, really like it. So this is just a way to wear color this winter without being crazy, or if you're just trying color for the first time, or you just like it. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys the shades that I'm using. I actually used Revolver right here. It is a black shade. I'm also using the shade called Freeze, which is a glitter blue shade. And I am using Bobby Dazzle, which is a white shimmery, like glittery shade. And I'm also using, where's it at? Oh, right here. It's called Truth. And it's just a lightly medium kind of shimmery nude shade for my highlight. So since I've already showed you guys the colors, I don't want to have to keep picking up my palette. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now the first thing you're going to do is prime your eyelids, of course. For that, I am actually using the e.l.f. Smudge Pot in Pearls of Wisdom. And I love this guy so much. I'm only going to apply this, though, all the way up to my crease. And then I'm going to stop. Like so. I'm going to make sure I get it in, like any wrinkles or creases, you know, etc. that I have on my eyelid. Because this is actually going to keep my color on all day. No joke. And what I'm going to do next is grab a brush to use as well, and this brush is just going to be for smudging. So I'm going to use like a little brush that came with one of my Urban Decay palettes. I think this one came with the Sustainable palette, but I'm not for certain, so don't quote me on that. Any type of like flat, thin precision brush would be great. I'm also going to grab a black eyeliner. For this, I am using the Too Faced Perfect Black, just because it's super creamy and we're going to be blending it. So you have to have something that you can actually work with. What I'm going to do next is take my black liner and I'm going to make like a C shape around my eye. Just kind of like an Easter egg or like an oval in a sense. Just go around, and the way I did it was I kind of stopped right above my crease. So just to show you guys, I'm going to go ahead and start out here. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you can always fix it later. In fact, I'm pretty sure this one's not going to be perfect. Like so. And you just want to make it kind of thick and taper off, obviously, towards the center of your eye. We're going to be blending. So, I mean, if you need to add more later, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and just start blending outwards a bit with that little precision brush. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can always add more later to kind of toughen it up. I'm going to fade out that line. Clean it up a little bit with my finger. Like so. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, this is not perfect by any means. And I'm going to grab a little bit more of my black liner just to kind of thicken it up a bit. And again, just go ahead and blend out the edge of that black. What I'm going to go ahead and do next is take a blending brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend the top of it just to kind of help it, you know, fade a bit for the blue that I'll be applying here in a second. So yeah, I just literally went around the top of, or the edge of that black, just to kind of smooth it out a bit. What I'm going to do next is take a shade called Freeze. I already showed you guys, I'll just show you again. I'll go ahead and pick up my palette, whatever. So this is the shimmery blue shade. You do not have to have this palette, guys, to do this look. I would suggest using a medium shimmery blue, though. We're going to be adding black on top, so you do want to have a little bit of shimmer and something pigmented enough that it's not going to just fade and be all black. You want something like a hint of color in there. So I'm going to apply it right above where I had the black. Keeping, like, make sure not to put it directly on the line itself, just because you want to have that gradient. So go ahead and just put it above it, blend it out a bit, like so. Go ahead and grab that blending brush again, just blend along the top of it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and just take my finger and go along and kind of soften where it goes inwards to the inner corner. Just because I went a little crazy with it. There we go. So that's that step. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and grab a little bit of that black shade from the palette called Revolver right here. I'm going to use that same blending precision brush, and I'm going to pat it right on top of the line that we created with that black liner, and of course I'm going to gently blend it out a bit. This is just going to add a little bit more of that pigmentation back, and I'm also going to connect a little bit. I'm going to smudge right underneath my lower lash line. Now you may have to add a little bit more blue if you'd like. I'm going to, so I'm going to just pop on a little bit more Freeze right on top. And then I'm going to apply a little bit more of Revolver right along the line, just to kind of help it stay really dark. Like so. And again, I'm going to grab just a little bit more Freeze just to kind of pat on, and then I'm going to blend with a blending brush or a crease brush. Like so. Pretty exciting, right? And I'm going to use my finger to go ahead and just kind of clean up a little bit. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and put on a highlight. Now for my highlight, I went ahead and used Truth, which is this like shimmery nude beige shade. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that directly underneath my brows. And I'm going to blend it. And when I do that, it's going to help the blue kind of gradually fade a little bit. So I'm going to pat blend just a little bit. So you have a really nice like transition from like a bold shade to a nude shade. Like so. I'm also going to grab a little bit of Truth and bring it right above the inner corner of my eye to my eyebrow, just because it's pretty similar to my skin tone. So I'm trying to just kind of make sure everything has a little bit of continuity and it looks light and fresh. I'm going to go ahead and pop on a little bit of color on the inner corner of my eye, or rather, not really color. It's the white shade, Bobby Dazzle. That's kind of shimmery. I'm going to use my finger for this. I always do. So I grabbed a little bit. I'm going to pop it right there on the inner corner. Looks like some of it faded over here, so I'll pop some back on over there too. And I'm going to grab a flat brush, just because I want to keep the line clean. I'm going to grab Bobby Dazzle with like a flat, thin brush, and I'm only going to pat it where I have the e.l.f. smudge pot by itself. So go ahead and just pat it, and you want to be careful, don't get crazy, because you want to keep that line nice and crisp. The line itself is what makes this look so unique. If you do accidentally get a little bit on your black liner, hey, not a problem. You can always take that liner and a little brush or something and just go right over it. I know that I had to earlier with this eye, so again, and I just did it, so yay! Like so. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is take the shade Freeze again, which is of course that beautiful blue shimmery shade. I'm going to go ahead and grab a bit of it and apply it right underneath my lower lash line. Right on top of that black. All the way to the inner corner. Obviously, don't get too crazy in the inner corner because we already have a shade there. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab a little blending brush of sorts, just to kind of blend it a bit and soften it, like so. And I'm going to grab a little bit more of that black shade, Revolver, and again, put that in the outer corner. Like that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab a black liner. I'm going to be using a gel one actually for this, and it's the Wet n Wild Fergie one. I was out of my really good liner, and I procrastinated and kept forgetting to buy another one, so I saw this at Walgreens for like $1.99, and I was like, $1.99 is not bad. I'll give it a shot. So I'm going to grab some of that with a very, very, very tiny, tiny brush. I mean, my brush is like super, super small. It's a little short one. And I'm going to go ahead and go along where the black liner already is. And start lining my eyelid. Now this is actually the perfect time if you have, like, you know, any imperfections. Go ahead and take that gel liner. But you have to be quick, and touch it up if you need. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead, of course, line my waterline real quick, and I'm going to use that Too Faced Perfect Black again. And then I'm going to apply some mascara. For the mascara, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Mascara because it is my favorite. I love that stuff so much. And I promise not to get on my mascara rant, so... But yeah, don't waste your money on mascara, guys. You have to throw it out every 3 months. Okay, I broke my promise. I started my little rant. But I'm done now, so it's all good. Now, this look would be absolutely bitchin' if you had some like false lashes. I do. I'm just not good with them. I have arthritis. I mean, me being able to put on eyeliner without, like, I don't know, looking like a damn clown is a miracle in itself. So I don't really want to like push my luck. What else I done with my face? On this side, rather, I do have a very, very light blush, so I'll go ahead and show you guys the blush, etc. I am using the e.l.f. Mineral Pressed Blush in Jetsetter. It's kind of like a muted maroon pink. I like this a lot. So I applied a little bit of this. This stuff is like super freaking pigmented. You do not need a lot. So just, you know, kind of go very gently. And then after I applied this, I went ahead and toned it down just a little bit by using a Nars, I think it's a Nars highlighter, and it's called Satellite of Love. It's just a shimmery shade here. So I went ahead and applied this directly on top of my blush. It's going to help soften it a bit and make it not so pink, because if it's going to be cold outside, you're already going to have a flush. There we go. It's going to add a little bit of sparkle, which is fabulous. IMO. And for the highlight, I'm actually going to use, and I broke the lid, shame on me, the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in Moonlight Pearl. And this is beautiful. Now, if you guys want to use anything like, you know, the ambient lighting powder, you can. These are so similar. I mean, I just, whichever one I grab for at the time I use, but I do use them both equally, believe it or not, which is a lot of fun because I like them both and they do the same thing, so why not, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take a brush, and I'm going to sweep this underneath my eye. Now, it's super shimmery right now, but I'm actually going to blend it out, so it's not going to be this glittery, I promise. And I'm going to apply some underneath where I applied a little contour earlier. Got some on my nose, my chin, and I'm seriously going to like buff this out. So, what I do next is I'm going to go ahead and take a brush. I have a big, super huge, fluffy one. I'm going to blend. See, not so bad, right? Fabulous. Now I'm going to go ahead because my lips are super shitty in winter, I'm going to apply some Soft Lips and Vanilla to my poor unfortunate lips. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a lipstick from MAC. This is called a Rose Romance. Sometimes I use a lip liner. I'll be honest with you today, I'm not going to. I do not have the correct pink for this. So that's kind of my fault. I'll work on that. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this. And here is the finished look. Pretty, right? I like it. I got excited. So yeah, I wanted to share this with you guys. Of course, I'll have a list of everything I used in my description. And if you guys want to see more tutorials and other cool stuff, you guys can check out my blog at allaboutyoureyes.blogspot.com. I usually have a giveaway. I do believe I have one going on now, so please enter and tell your friends. So thank you. Please give me a like, and if you do like, that'd be cool if you subscribed. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have an awesome winter.